Welcome to Smellomania. Today I'll be reviewing a perfume of a very sought after note, and that's the note of linden blossom. The perfume is called Tilia by Marc-Antoine Barrois. What is Tilia? What does the name stand for? Tilia is the Latin name for linden trees, also known as lime trees. You can see me caressing a sticky leaf of Tilia cordata. The trees are mostly common in the southern hemisphere and are very well known for their sweet, honey-like aroma. The official notes in Tilia are linden blossom, of course, ambrofix, that's a synthetic molecule that's supposed to make the scent everlasting, jasmine sambac, that's a nice floral companion, Georgie wood, one more synthetic note, which is supposed to resemble woody notes. It was developed and patented by Givaudan. Two more floral notes are heliotrope and broom, and some green vetiver. If I had to describe Tilia in a few words, I'd say it's a perfume which is rather more feminine. It feels soft and round, but the scent is really quite persistent, even a bit poetic as far as highly synthetic-based perfumes can go, and it feels almost transparent. When I received my first Tilia sample, I found out that it was an actual miniature. It was a dab bottle. Dabbing the perfume will create a more personal, a more toned down presence. And I really wanted to experience the smell in full power, so I took my old box of empty spray bottles, a couple of syringes, and got down to business. Sorry for these angelic, overexposed shots. Well, at least they look magical. Here's my empty glass atomizer, syringes, and the main star, Tilia. Note how the bottles are of quite similar size, yet my atomizer fits 5 times less perfume than that Marc-Antoine Barrois miniature. It's all in the thickness of the glass, and my liquid transfusion was a success. Now let's get back to what in the world does Tilia smell like. The scent is truly yellow, a shrub glowing with a golden aura, bursting with hundreds of fuzzy pom-poms. I felt the need to color the stems bright green. As yellow and happy the scent is, there's no denying of that underlying grassy aspect. If I was passing by this hedge, I would truly be tempted to bring back home with me a small branch. But once it's displayed in a closed environment, the smell engulfs the whole apartment. That's how strong the scent of Tilia is. If it truly took the form of my imaginary shrub, I would advise against bringing its flowers back home. Now, Tilia may have been created to honor the smell of linden trees, but what arose in my mind after smelling and wearing the scent for a couple of weeks was something different. I imagined that I was smelling a fluffy yellow ball clinging onto a grassy green stem. The odorful sphere is very soft and round, yet somehow spiky. Maybe the spikes are soft, or maybe the plant is poisonous and is only luring in victims with its pleasant aroma. How should I represent the feeling of those synthetic molecules mixed among the beautiful florals? Maybe it's as if artificial intelligence was at work here? It did a wonderful job at understanding that the scent of this plant feels soft and round, yet it added a glassy effect and that surreal sense of transparency. I wanted to experience linden trees in as many ways as possible, so I bought some lovely lime blossom tea and carried out an intensive sniffing session. Lime blossom tea. It reads flowery and soft. Contains large-leaved linden blossoms and small-leaved linden blossoms. The smell is soft, honey-like, reminiscent of dry hay. And it brought back memories of my very first home, which was a flat on the top floor. It had a small balcony which overlooked those colossal linden trees. That's where I was spending my first years of life. And that's how the room looked when it was flooded with the lushness of those at least half-century-old linden trees. I was so accustomed to that sweet honey-like scent during the summer that I've never consciously acknowledged it. Up until 20 years later, my colleague at work mentioned that she loved the smell of linden blossoms and has been looking for that perfect recreation in a perfume. Only then did I realize that this scent was such a huge part of my life, that it felt so natural to me, so it was left unnoticed by my nose. It was as if someone said, "Don't you just love the smell of oxygen?" Despite being such a lovely smelling and looking tree, it's better not to leave your car under it during their blooming season. The trees are notorious for that unruly, sticky mess they leave. You can even feel your feet sticking to the ground when you're passing by that tacky puddle. I've always thought that it was nectar from the blossoms dripping down the leaves and down to the ground. But I was so wrong. A healthy linden tree is not supposed to leak all over the place. When the leaves become infected with these tiny bugs called aphids, then and only then the stickiness occurs. Quote, when their mouthpart penetrates the phloem, the sugary, high-pressure liquid is forced out of the other end of the insect. End of quote. And this liquid is what we so lovingly call honeydew. The more you know, the more you wish you knew less. Okay, let's get back to Tilia. Does Tilia smell like linden blossom or not? I would say that it's a lovely contemporary interpretation. It's a bit like linden blossom plus a soft, fruity, pear-like impression, plus some soft creaminess. I can also detect that green grassy vetiver, which is playing a lovely role here by being really lush, not smoky or dry. The perfume itself feels soft yet powerful, just a bit musky, as if that musk was harvested from the tree itself, and I can definitely sense the honey. This perfume performs quite differently on skin compared to a blotter. In both instances, it's very linear, meaning that the smell will remain virtually the same throughout the whole day. While on a blotter, Tilia could be described as a fresh, light, transparent, fruity floral with some airy sweetness and some green aspects. On skin, at least on my skin, I get a lot of creamy vetiver. It gets weirdly sour, as if that honey has gone bad. I can even sense an overdue floral arrangement. I sat down and started to combine all my thoughts into one. Tree, blossoms, pear, cream, synthetic, transparent. What if it was a glass pear which grows on trees and it's filled with honey, and that glass fruit is round and soft? Tilia is a truly beautiful creation. It's a very contemporary floral perfume which smells lovely on a blotter, but didn't really work on my skin. So always be sure to test it out yourself. I've been mentioning honey quite a few times throughout this video, even though there is no official honey note in Tilia. And that's because linden trees are known to produce one of the most desired honey varieties, and Tilia does have that soft honey touch. However, it's definitely not too sweet. I'd say that they borrow that characteristic sourness from the honey rather than the sweetness. Tilia is insanely long-lasting. I've left the blotter inside my sniffing cup, and after a month, it smells as if the perfume was sprayed on it merely hours ago. I believe that it's a very successful release, which could definitely become a signature scent for quite a few people. Sure, it's intended to be more of a spring-summer fragrance, but I can easily imagine someone wearing it through the entire year. It's quite office-friendly if you don't overspray it. Otherwise, it has the potential to become hardly tolerable. Like any other perfume, really. This scent paints a portrait of someone who's romantic, loves floral perfumes, but wanted to smell modern. It emanates joy, happiness, brightness, and cheerful thoughts. Could linden blossom smell have been recreated using more natural materials? Most definitely. But is it a nice contemporary floral perfume? Most definitely. So here it is, my interpretation of Tilia as a watercolor painting. Pear-shaped transparent fruits filled with honey, entangled with bright green vines, slowly swaying in sunlight. Tilia by Marc-Antoine Barrois. Thank you and see you soon. Bye.